You know, it wasn't that long ago when I said that the PS5 would probably be the last gaming console that I will buy. Maybe I'll buy like the Nintendo Switch 2 or Switch 3 or whatever the fuck in order to play like 2 games. But as far as like the big home consoles, we have Xbox who at this point doesn't care about disc preservation. Their first party games don't even come with the full game on the disc. You have to download it from the server. And then we have Phil Spencer here who thinks that making good games won't allow them to compete in the gaming sphere, but instead their solution is shilling their Netflix ass cloud-based service. So Xbox is pretty much dead in my eyes, they don't matter. And then we have PlayStation. Now, I've tolerated this division for so long because at the end of the day, I'm a simple guy. I like cute anime girls, I can play cute anime girls on this big ass router. And if I have it on disc, that gives it even extra value, because if I can't own it on a disc, what the fuck is the point of me buying games for PlayStation if I can get a better experience on PC by enhancing the graphics, tuning the settings in order to obtain higher frame rates, modding the game? If I can achieve all of that, what value am I getting by paying the same amount for a PS4 or 5 copy? The answer is simple. A, the convenience of paying what is generally a more stable experience compared to all the behemoth of problems that you can encounter when playing PC games. But the other major benefit is the fact that unlike on PC, you can actually have physical ownership of the game because optical media basically doesn't exist on PC. Now granted, for understandable reasons, because those discs were fucking terrible back in the days, we're talking about borderline malware on your computer, but it doesn't change the fact that unless you're buying games on GOG, you're pretty much paying for games that you don't technically even own in any way whatsoever. Recently, I've been revisiting all of the Yakuza games. I'm currently playing Yakuza 6, and it's been a great experience. I think it's an awesome game, and I'm currently playing it in vastly superior conditions than I ever was when I originally played this game on the PS4. Higher resolution, because on the base PS4, the game was rendered at 900p, and I'm getting almost 4 times the frame rate. This will forever be my go-to way of revisiting this game. However, I still have Yakuza 6 on disc. Now granted, I kinda didn't really need to do this because I already have this game on GOG, which is DRM free, and I've already backed up the game on an external drive, but I still find value in having some semblance of physical ownership of the original game data for a game that I consider to be some of the best entries in the Yakuza series. Now a while back, PlayStation announced refreshes for the PS5. I assume they're now called PS5 Slim. Initially, I saw people complaining about the prices because apparently now the digital edition costs like 50 bucks extra. This is because it now has a slot for an optical disc drive, so if for whatever reason you wanted to buy the digital version because maybe you're low on cash and you don't see yourself buying that many physical copies anyway, so you pay like 50 bucks less, and later down the line, if you ever feel like owning discs, you can buy a detachable disc drive. Now, from what I understand, the main complaint came from the fact that the disc drive itself costs 80 bucks, so in total you would be paying 30 bucks extra for essentially the same experience as buying the disc edition. And apparently there was another controversy regarding the stand, which I'm not really gonna get into that, because if I'm being completely real with you, with all of this, I don't give a fuck. Admittedly, I'm a bit jaded because I bought my PS5 through a scalper, so I paid way more than what PlayStation is currently charging. But at the same time, these price discrepancies, I've seen them before in other markets. This isn't a new thing. I mean, this is exactly what happens when you pay for a season pass compared to purchasing each individual DLC separately. I know it sounds like I'm being apologetic, but I don't know what else to tell you other than, yeah, that's the capitalist world that we live in. It's fine to complain, but I don't care. In my opinion, if you're paying for the digital edition of the PS5, you're already shooting yourself in the foot. Just buy the disc version. Honest to God, just save a little bit of money, even if it means holding off a month or two. I guarantee you that you're getting way better value than the digital edition. However, here's where I actually get angry, because the price discrepancies, I can let that one slide. But this right here is probably, and I'm not joking, this legit might be the worst decision PlayStation has ever made. So let's say you buy the detachable disc drive because you finally realize, oh shit, optical discs are based, I want to own them. Well, here's a fun little fact. You have to connect to the internet in order to set up the disc drive. Sony, what the fuck is wrong with you? The only reason anyone would ever bother to purchase a disc drive is so that we don't rely on the internet. It's so that we are able to preserve the game data ourselves in case anything ever happens to your servers, which is bound to happen. You're not gonna run forever. We all know that eventually you're going to discontinue support for this console in who knows how many years. And to be fair, this isn't like the worst case scenario. It would have been a lot worse if we always had to stay connected to the internet. But what happens if I replace the disk drive and I don't have access to the internet? Or if in 10, 20, 30 years from now, my disk drive gets fucked up and I have to replace it. Am I still going to be able to rely on your servers in order to do the initial setup? Probably not. This is such a stupid decision, and what really pisses me the fuck off is, and it's legit the main reason for why I think the PS5 will be the last PlayStation console that I will ever buy, is that I would genuinely not be surprised if this became their design philosophy coming into the new generation of consoles. I would not be surprised if instead of having a disc and digital edition, we had one edition with a detachable disc drive. Because I've said this before, game companies want us to move into the digital world. They hate the idea that we as consumers can actually own the games that we paid money for. So slowly and steadily, they're quietly killing off optical media. They've already done it on PC, and they're slowly doing it on the console side of things, which at least to me kills off any appeal of owning a gaming console. If I can't own my games physically, I'm not buying your console ever again. But you know, as much as I wish I could say that, oh, you know, PC gaming is the saving grace, hallelujah, this is my new go-to, Steam is great, Gabe Newell based, whatever. Honestly, things aren't that much better on PC. Like, every game is coming out with the worst fucking optimization. Oh, you have a 4090, you paid $2,000 for this beauty? Well, congratulations, now you can play this game at 35 frames per second. Alan Wake 2 apparently won't even support RDNA 1 and the GTX 10 series. May I remind you, by the way, that the 5000 series came out 4 years ago? Yeah, apparently gaming companies just expect gamers to spend absurd amounts of money upgrading the computer every fucking week in order to keep up with the ridiculous hardware demands, despite the fact that they barely even look that much better than games that came out 7 years ago. And I have no trouble running any of those games on really any bare minimum gaming build. And then there's the problem of DRM and anti-cheat. Like, Counter-Strike 2 is banning people who enable anti-lag plus and with high mouse DPI. Then there's Forza Motorsport that won't install on your computer if you remove Microsoft Edge from your computer. So yeah, if you think it's all sunshine and rainbows on the PC side of things, you're wrong. The gaming sphere as a whole is just becoming more and more depraved. I don't see myself completely walking away from gaming as a whole because I still care about quite a few series, but one thing I can say for certain is that it's gonna become a lot more difficult from now on to justify paying money for gaming hardware when shit like this keeps happening over and over again. And that's pretty much all I have to say. Take care.